everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Coastside, your guide to all things Coastside. I am your host, Angelica Troncoso.
And I'm Chris Lay, and we have a very green episode for you today, planting the seeds to get you back out to nature.
Time to get up and take a good stroll outside with your mask on. Especially during this quarantine, it's important to move those muscles and exercise your body.
So, Angie, what do we have in line for you today?
Well, first, we head to Golden Gate Park in San Francisco, where the Seed and Soul Club hosts and swap plants of all types and sizes.
Then we take those plants and move on to the fruits of their labor. We check out the Coastside Farmers Market with all their fresh produce and artisan foods.
Then we ride through Highway 92 and take in the view with a cup of wine from La Nebbia Winery, bringing you the California experience in Half Moon Bay.
After that, we ride the waves down to Surf Camp Pacifica, where they're teaching people of all ages to surf.
Lastly, we take a dive through history of San Mateo County with the mural of the Ocean Shore Railroad right here on Crispy Drive.
Yeah, so let's get it started with a little seed and a little soul for you. Roll the clip.
Nurturing plants have been a great way to keep occupied during our nation's pandemic. Hi, this is Cristobal Fierros, an intern at Pacific Coast Television. Lately, plant enthusiasts, hobbyists, and botanists have been sharing techniques to grow indoor and outdoor plants. We interviewed June Ong, co-founder of Seed and Soul Club, who will be hosting this month's plant swap at the Golden Gate Park.
It was just a hobby I did outside of, work for the last year. And then with the pandemic, we pivoted into running more virtual online workshops and also the occasional swap. So the way I'm hosting the swap is by having it with many safety precautions, having it outdoors, everybody must have a mask, having it with social distancing. So, of course, everyone who shows up understands the risk of partaking in an event in the midst of a pandemic. But it's a community effort of hosting and running it. And I'm excited to meet with 20 people for like an hour or less, and then everybody disperse. And if anybody has symptoms, I will reach out to everyone and we'll follow contact tracing procedures. The way I'm doing my swap is more of a community pot. You bring your plants, everything is placed on a table, and then we will, in a way, raffle off the plants.
Next we have the silver strip philodendron cuttings.
I decided to do Instagram because that's where the community is. In terms of sharing pictures, the influencer group, I think the community is larger there in terms of inspiration than it is on Facebook. Facebook, there are still big, large plant communities, but it's much more for buying and selling online plants. Been hosting those live workshops on Instagram every 2 weeks. We've covered peperomia collection, propagation, how to propagate, which is essentially how to take little babies and cuttings off your existing plants and create another plant out of it. Leca propagation, and upcoming, which I'm really excited about in 2 weeks, we have a show with a succulent collector where she's going to walk us through her collection and how to care for succulents indoors in apartments. And in several months, I'm also really excited to go through a greenhouse tour, a virtual greenhouse tour of someone who owns a greenhouse in Daly City. A lot of my guest speakers have so far been influencers and hobbyists. And my audience enjoy that because they could speak to experience, this fertilizer does not work. This one, on the other hand, does. I am excited to start inviting botanists and horticulturalists because I think they offer just a different perspective. So my role is to just surface this, opinions, hobbyists, horticulturalists, and everybody in the middle. And the role of the audience is to decide if they want to listen, if they buy it, if they want to apply it. And it's also really fun to just have knowledge and see what other people are doing with their plants and learn. I just want to learn.
Talk about plant life.
I know, right? For those that don't know, PLAMP is an internet term that, one, is a meme word referring to the vibes of the DJ live stream, ascertaining to the presence of plants plus lava lamps, a noticeable recurring theme for online DJ sets. 2, the general vibes of watching a live stream from quarantine, often while partying at home, stemming from the recurring presence of plants and lamps on DJ live streams. What about you, Chris? Do you have some plants?
Well, I used to not have much luck with plants or fish, honestly, but since I've got my 4 succulents, it's been much easier. They're very low maintenance. They need very little water, once a week, maybe, even sometimes less than that. And you can sometimes forget about them and they'll still be alive for you. What about you, Angie?
I'm all right with plants, but the one that's very interested in plants is my mom. We recently had our backyard renovated, and she's just like wondering where to put every plant that she has. We have a cactus, a lemon tree, an orange tree. We recently had a fig tree, but we took that down, and we just like have a lot of flowers.
Go ahead and check out the Facebook page of the Seed and Soul Club for their next get together. And now let's check out the Coastside Farmers Market located on Rockaway Beach. Roll the clip.
In this time of the global pandemic, our farmers are the most affected, with their goods not being able to infiltrate the market and having nothing to return to their investments. The Coastside Farmers Market of Pacifica and Half Moon Bay welcomes local farmers and small businesses to operate and give chance to receive their hard work's worth. I am Christian Carlos Guerra, and I interviewed some of the merchants and asked for their plights and how the farmers market helped to overcome them.
My name's Jamie Anzalone with Anzalone's Olive Oil from Napa, California. Today I brought one of my favorite properties in St. Helena, California. It's a olive oil from the old craft vineyard. The trees are 100-year-old Manzanillo trees that have been here for quite some time. So it's a 2018 harvest old craft vineyard from St. Helena olive oil. You know, it's a great way to get introduced to the local people and have them see your face first in front of them, talk about your product to them, because Anzalone's Olive Oil is really about the story of Anzalone in the Napa Valley.
Hi, I'm Garrett. I'm owner of Garrett's Granola. I sell handmade granola. I have 4 flavors of handmade granola made up in San Francisco. Very delicious, very unique. COVID-19 definitely had a big impact on my business. I sold a lot to office buildings and tech companies, bulk granola for the most part, so those shut down immediately when people went home to work. Farmers Market definitely helped me with my business because it's consistent every week, and there's a great group of vendors here and some really nice local folks that come out each week. So it's been consistent and really nice to be a part of the community out here.
Coastside Farmers Market also partnered with different state and federal organizations to provide perks for regular shoppers and beneficiaries.
My name's Heidi Lo Cicero. I live here in Pacifica. Well, my mother she gets Social Security disability, but that really doesn't pay for her living needs. So CalFresh makes a huge difference in that there's those funds that I can specifically allocate that isn't coming out of my pocket.
Coastside Farmers Market operates every Wednesdays on Rockaway Beach, Pacifica from 2:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. They also open at Shoreline Station at Half Moon Bay during Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Please be reminded that the first 45 minutes is allotted only for seniors, immune-compromised, and essential workers.
During this pandemic, local businesses and farmers have been hit especially bad. It's a great thing that the Coastside Farmers Market is still helping people, also being a place for citizens to organize and get organic foods.
Yes, exactly, Chris. For anybody out there, go ahead and check them out if you need any foods or necessities. Now, Chris, when was the last time you visited your local farmers market?
Well, we're kind of foodies at my household, so we go probably weekly, try to get all the fresh produce and make some crazy meal. What about you, Angie?
Well, for me, I think it's a long trip overdue. I remember going to my first farmer's market when I was, I think, in high school. For me, it was like the equivalent of being in a candy store, but with food, like fresh, fresh ingredients, fresh produce. And so I was just looking there. I didn't have that much money, but I was like, I want everything. But I only got a couple of things. But it's something that I would probably go to now, especially during this pandemic.
Yeah. Going from fruits and taking that fruit and crushing it into lovely wine, we have the winery at La Nebbia in Half Moon Bay, where you can relax one drink at a time, hopefully. But roll the clip.
Escape to the beautiful views of Highway 92 to kick back, relax, and choose from a numerous selection of wine. We talked to Jennifer Cosolino, the new owner of La Nebbia Winery, on how you can still taste the California experience safely.
Winemaking is a new venture for us. We have been familiar with La Nebbia Winery for several years because our family property is adjacent to the winery property. So we've known Kendall Kellogg, the previous owner, for several years. My husband saw even the previous owners, the Obusters, running their operation. The winery itself does not own its own vineyard, so it's not growing its own grapes. And that has its advantages because we are able to deliver that California wine experience to people. We can go out and seek the best varietals available for that season, for that year, and have that bulk wine trucked into the winery and deliver that to our customers versus being limited to our own grapes and our own vineyards. So that's kind of how we capture the California wine experience. We've had wines from Lodi, Mendocino, Amador County, Sonoma, Central Coast, all over. So we're kind of bringing parts of California to our customers here on the Coastside. Part of what drew people to Obuster and then La Nebbia were the barrel to bottle events where folks could come out, be part of the process of the actual bottling of the wines. And obviously that's something we want to continue as well. Part of our plan and vision for the property is to expand the outdoor garden areas and be able to have designated private party areas for things like weddings, anniversary parties, retirement parties, plus continue to still do smaller things like employee, appreciation wine and cheese receptions, baby showers, bridal showers, family reunions, things like that. What we've done is we've socially distanced all of our picnic tables and area out in the back courtyard to be at least 8 to 10 feet apart from one another. We're limiting party size to 8 people at each picnic table. And we've covered the picnic tables so that we can sanitize in between guests. It gives people just an escape to enjoy nature, hang out, feel normal. Enjoy some great wine. We have a big selection of snacks available too. So we appreciate and we really enjoy seeing people out in the back courtyard enjoying the winery for sure.
La Nebbia!
Do you drink wine, Chris?
I used to, but not really anymore. Being a long-time professional server, I could probably tell you all the characteristics of each wine, each varietal, tell you what part of the world it's from, maybe give you a pairing with the food that you're eating. But I try not to be too pretentious.
Pretentious? What do you mean?
Like saying something smells like burnt leather and Frankenberry, or saying a champagne's bubbles feels like butterfly wings flapping in your mouth, something like that, for like the guys from the movie Sideways.
Okay, so you have or you haven't?
I'm not drinking Merlot.
Okay. Well, I can't wait for when they finish remodeling the courtyard. It'll be so beautiful.
Yeah, it'd be so gorgeous for events whenever we can have events again.
Of course. Hey, Chris, I got a little trivia for you. Can you guess how many wineries there are in California?
I'm guessing a few more than 10.
Not quite. There's an estimated 4,501 wineries in California.
Wow, that's a lot of wineries.
And on top of wines, they have an assortment of dips and finger foods you can eat and choose from. And don't forget to visit Half Moon Bay Art Glass with Doug, located right next to La Nebbia Winery, and take a fun class to create a beautiful art you can take home.
Then we move to the ocean now. Angie, do you surf?
No, but I've always dreamed of going on a vacation to Hawaii, sipping on a coconut, and learn how to surf, like Lilo and Stitch.
Well, if you want to learn, you can head down to Surf Camp Pacifica, where there are classes for adults and kids. Let's go to the video.
Surfing is a combination of sport, leisure, and nature. Hi, this is Cristobal Fierros, an intern with Pacific Coast Television. And with the reclosing of gyms, churches, and bars, surfing can be an outlet to cope during the Bay Area's lockdown. We interviewed Todd Johnson from Surf Camp Pacifica and asked him about operating lessons during the pandemic.
So for us, our normal program would go from June 1st through the end of August. This year, due to the whole coronavirus, we were not able to operate at all in June, and our numbers of our camp, our private lessons, we haven't been running our camp at all, which would normally be 30 kids and 15 instructors, 2 sessions a day. We've been cut down to 12 kids in 1 session a day, and they're actually split into 4 small groups. So those 4 small groups, those kids are only really interacting with their single instructor and the kids that are in their group. And like I said, everybody's got their own space. It's easy to practice 6 feet when we have a whole beach to spread out on, and we're still able to remain a safe distance, also close enough with the instructors that we're being safe out in the water, but still distant enough that we're being safe with the whole regulations. We're out there in nature every day. Obviously, the kids are learning a lot about the tides and the wind and the swell, and kind of putting that all together in their surf day. And they're really getting a strong bond with the environment and our culture as well. Being out there with other surfers and the etiquette that takes to be a part of a surf community, and being safe and having respect for your surroundings, your local other surfers, your equipment and whatnot. It's really nice. They get to be a real part of the surf community. We start at the beginning with, where do waves come from? What makes a wave break? Why does a certain wave break the way it does on a certain day? What the wind does, to the surface of the water and the texture of the wave. Surfing in itself is you're pretty distant from everybody. You're not really, you want to stay away from people as you're actually surfing, for the obvious reason we're not trying to be running into each other, running over each other. But and surfing has been one of the safest activities that people can do in general, just to get out there and let people come in and enjoy the beach, because it is such a beautiful resource that people should be able to come and take advantage of.
That looks super duper cool. People of all ages getting out and hitting the beach and riding some waves.
Yeah, when we interviewed Todd Johnson, he was super enthusiastic, very, teaching the kids about each wave and the way the wave breaks, on the wind, all that. He was super, super excited. So go down there.
Have you ever surfed, Chris?
The web, the internet, maybe, TV.
Dun-dun-dun, I got that. But for anyone who is interested, this is a good way to exercise during this pandemic. And don't forget to bring your sunscreen and some water, because this can be some pretty heavy work riding those waves. And next up, right here in beautiful Pacifica, we head down to the beach and visit the Ocean Shore Railroad mural. Roll the clip.
Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Marty and Naya out here in beautiful Pacifica, California, and today I am actually out in front of this mural right here, which is a gorgeous mural. I wish I could tell you the history of it, but I'll tell you what it's depicting. It's depicting the history of San Mateo County and the Ocean Shore Railroad. Okay, so what was the Ocean Shore Railroad, you ask? The Ocean Shore Railroad was a little railroad that ran all the way from San Francisco all the way down to Half Moon Bay and Santa Cruz, making pit stops here in Pacifica, right here at Lindemar Beach, which is what's depicted right here. The real Lindemar Beach is about a block to the west of me, and the railroad actually took folks from the big city down so they could spend a day, enjoy the day down in Santa Cruz or Half Moon Bay or here in Pacifica. And I'm thinking it was decommissioned sometime in the early 30s or late 20s. Somebody can fact check me on that. But there are still remnants of it, and here on the coastside, a lot of history that remains, and historical depictions like this one here. So if you're ever in the area, or if you ever are doing movies, or kind of looking at some of the history of this area, well, you could do a lot worse than coming over here and checking out this mural, which is right here on Crespi Drive. Okay, but the other thing I want you guys to know is that it is time, almost time, to start thinking about what your post-COVID plans are going to be, right? What is it going to look like after COVID for you, for your family? Now, let me tell you this. If media literacy and media is important to you, then what you want to do is you want to come down and become a member at PCT, Pacific Coast Television, because we are your community media center for the coastside, and that's going to give you all kinds of opportunities, not only to make your own TV shows, but to support community media, to support voices of those folks in your community, the music, the artists, the political voices, you name it. It is about community, and it is about media literacy, and it's about democracy. It starts at the local level. So become a member of PCT. It's pacificcoast.tv. You can join right there, or if you just want to donate $5, $10, $15, you can do that. And again, we'd be very, very happy, and I'm sure put it to not only amazing use, but facilitate others who will.
Wow, connecting coastside cities through one railroad. Now that's history for you.
Yeah, what a sight it must have been living in the early 1900s and having that train come down that railroad.
I'm sure it beats trying to find a seat on BART or Muni.
Been there, done that. Driving a car is way easier than going on public transportation. So to recap, today we went back through history with the Ocean Shore Railroad mural here in Pacifica.
Then we hit the waves with Surf Camp Pacifica.
Then we dropped by La Nebbia Winery at Half Moon Bay.
Don't forget about the farmers market, the Coastside Farmers Market at Rockaway Beach.
And lastly, we swapped plants with Seed and Soul Club at Golden Gate Park.
On that note, if you're interested in media literacy or TV and film production, come join us.
And PCT serving the local community because each and every one of us and our artists, our business owners, our nonprofit organizations and government have a voice. And what a nice way to make their voices heard right here at Pacific Coast Television.
Yeah, come check us out at channels 26 and 27 or on our website at www.pacificcoast.tv.
And to our audience, thank you so much for joining us at Pacific Coast Television. My name is Angelica Troncoso.
And I'm Chris Lay.
And thank you for joining us on another episode of Coast Life, your guide to all things Coastside. See you soon. Bye.